All right, y'all, here we go. 24 hours until the NBA season. Well, man, we got like 30 because it's Monday morning here. But the season's about to kick off, man. I know you're ready. I'm ready. There's a couple of things I wanted to address as teams. The preseason finished and they made their cuts, right, to finalize their rosters going into the season. It's not as clean cut as it used to be with the two-way contracts and all these little loopholes that teams are finding to kind of keep their rosters open moving forward. But the first thing that I wanted to address was Draymond Green. All right, so he hadn't played any of these preseason games, and it was knee soreness, sitting out with knee soreness, right? And he finally played, Saturday night in that finale against the Lakers, where not many people played. Steph played a half, right? Check out the Patreon. I got a full breakdown of that if you want to know more details. But the most glaring issue was Draymond Green dragging his left leg around that game. Now, I think it was almost like they wanted to show the fans, like, Draymond's fine, Draymond's going to play, right? Well, he didn't look fine. Now, and it wasn't out of shape. Here's what you have to consider. Draymond Green is a tough dude and a tough player, and he plays through minor injuries pretty much all the time. We know this, right? So when the tough guy is dragging the leg, it's not right. And so that concerned me, and I watched his body language and his mannerisms throughout the game, and it got me to thinking, like, he's in a contract year, right? And he doesn't want to miss any time. He never wants to miss any time anyway, right? But I'm calling it right now. You can call this irresponsible reporting or whatever. This is just my opinion. This is why y'all come here. You come for the takes, right? So this is my take. Draymond is going to have to shut it down and get the left knee scoped. It's just what I see. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I have it. All I saw is one preseason game, but my eye test, I've watched every game Draymond's played in his career, and he wasn't moving right. If this was just a knee bruise or some knee tendonitis, he would play right through it. The way he was lumbering out there lets me know that it's more than that. And then you connect the dots that this is a contract year for him. And we know his personality. He's stubborn, right? And so he's doing much like what we saw, I think, with Westbrook, avoiding getting the knee scoped. Obviously, Westbrook got it scoped, and we probably won't see him tomorrow night. But I'm just saying, expect the Warriors to have to shut Draymond down early on in the season for a few weeks while he gets the knee cleaned up. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying his knee's like blown out, but I'm saying he's going to have to shut it down and get it fixed, whether that's getting it scoped or just rest. I don't think we're going to see Draymond for the 82 or near the 82 this year. Now, the Lakers, the Warriors played the Lakers these final two preseason games. I want you to take a listen to my guy Colin Cowherd here, because I want to go in on this.
So the Lakers played last night. It was LeBronzo come to life. And here's my takeaway, and you respond to it, is it's a bunch of guys who can't shoot and Brandon Ingram. And if LeBron can go 27 a game and Ingram gets to 21 to 22, which I think he will, I think he's the second best player, 8 points, 16 last year, 22, then everybody else can fill in. They'll be fine. But it's a bunch of LeBron and a bunch of guys outside of Brandon Ingram that I can't rely on to hit a three in a three-ball league. You take the floor.
All right, appreciate it, Colin. Appreciate it. So I think that this is being a little overstated as far as the Lakers goes. They don't have veteran shooters. They don't have a Kyle Korver, right? They don't have a Kevin Love, obviously. They've got shooters. They're just not as proven. The Russian kid, I don't think I'm going to try to say his name. I'll butcher it, right? But then you've got Mo Wagner, Josh Hart, fully capable of catching shooting threes. And then Kuzma can shoot the ball, man. I think he's just fine catching and shooting and off the dribble. He's a pure scorer. So I think that it's a little bit overstated when you look at the roster and you say they don't have shooters. Yes, Rondo's not a catch and shoot guy, obviously. Lance and then JaVale. You're looking at the three guys, and then Beasley. Don't expect for Beasley to be on this roster the whole season. You saw him get tossed out in what was kind of a weak call in that last preseason game, but I think he's the odd man out. And Lance is going to be very up and down. One night he's going to look like a world beater. The next night he's going to look like he's drinking a 40 before the game. That's just Lance for you. But I think I agree. Ingram is the anointed Pippen to LeBron, right? But the lack of shooting is overstated. I think they've got plenty of guys that can knock down the three. I forgot to mention KCP, and so I haven't really gone. I'm not too big on predictions, but I'm on the side of the Lakers are going to be good. They're going to be good barring injury, and they're going to have plenty of shooting in the fast pace. The one thing I question is How will LeBron hold up playing at this speed? Now, another thing I thought it was interesting. Take a look at this little GIF meme here of Rondo. Tell me that isn't kind of like sunning Luke, right? To me, that interpretation of that is like Rondo's the boss, right? That's something you do to your son. So I thought that was interesting, and it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of interesting ego dynamics, court chemistry, playing time, right? As the minutes start to matter, these dudes trying to prove themselves. So I know I've talked a lot about the Lakers early on, but let's be real. That's kind of what all eyes are on right now to start the season. I'm going to talk Toronto, Philly, all this stuff, but I wanted to touch on that and say that, the shooting, they're going to be young guys, but they can put shooting lineups out there around LeBron. They have a lot of versatility as far as what they can do. Another little tidbit in the news, Joel Embiid signed to Under Armour. Now, we've all heard, there's this stereotype, big men can't sell shoes and all this stuff. And apparently Steph called Embiid and kind of recruited him to Under Armour, which has quietly, been doing very well, signing stars kind of before they blow up. Now, Embiid's already a star, but they're kind of probably anticipating him being one of the faces of the league moving forward if he can stay healthy. It'll be interesting to see because the Stephs, if I was talking about the KD 11s, and I still say get the hell out them KD 11s if you're an athlete. If you're an explosive athlete, it's not for you. But the Stephs have kind of regressed, if you ask me, now that they've gone to the low cut. And obviously Steph, he wears those huge plastic ankle braces, but I haven't been a big fan of the last few iterations of the Stephs. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with Embiid. Obviously a much bigger, different style player. I'm assuming they're going to be high tops. I'm assuming they're going to have a lot more support and lockdown, but we'll see. I'm going to talk some more Warriors here because I know many of you are curious on my take on the final roster spot, the waves, what happened. Obviously, Damian Jones is starting at center, and we'll see. We'll see, right? There's some things. Again, if y'all really want the true breakdowns, go to the Patreon. I break down every play that Damian Jones has done really pretty much in this preseason in those extended breakdowns and my full take on what he's lacking and what he needs to work on in that. But we'll see. The jury's out on Damian these first 20 games. I'm going to give him to see how he responds. But sometimes, it's in here, right? It's in here that can't really be taught. Now, the Warriors went out, Bob Myers. They signed Alfonso McKinney. I thought it was going to be House Jr. It was McKinney, 26-year-old. He was with the Raptors last year. And it's funny, man, because he was kind of popping in the preseason games, particularly on the offensive glass. You saw him hit that hard. He's an explosive athlete, 6'8", 215. And then right when we waived everybody and signed him, that final Lakers preseason game, he looked terrible. It's like, and maybe it's in the beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. And it was like, once I knew he was a part of the roster, maybe I started to see his flaws more. But all of a sudden I noticed like, dude has no left hand. And some of these things are experienced things. But mind you, at 26, he's not a basketball baby, but he repeatedly tried to dunk with the right hand on McGee with bad angles and got roofed. And then he got hit backdoor 5 or 6 times. Relentlessly, the Lakers shooters, young shooters off the bench, hit him backdoor 4 or 5 times in the second half of that game. And it was alarming because it's like, all right, he hit you once, he hit you twice. At what point do you make that adjustment? To be fair, the scouting report on those Lakers were probably to run them off the three-point line, but you'd like to see a player at 26 be able to make that adjustment dynamically without anybody telling him it. It's like he should have been able to figure that out. So I'm not a huge fan of that, as well as the second two-way contract. Now, Steph's brother-in-law is under a two-way. It's a little bit confusing, but they also retained Marcus Derrickson. Georgetown, undrafted, 6'7", 250 pounds. Now, a lot of people are kind of enamored with his shooting ability we saw in Summer League. I'm here to tell you he's not an NBA player, man. He just doesn't have he doesn't have the physical attributes. He doesn't have the lateral quickness. He doesn't have the verticality to make up for that lateral quickness. Yes, he can shoot the three, but that's all he brings to the table. I don't think he has any switchability. And so I'm kind of questioning Bob Myers' moves right now. I thought it would be House Jr. or maybe Kendrick Nunn, some guys with more versatility and pop. That being said, from everything I understand, they've kept the door open. There's still the 15th roster spot. Pat McCaw's not getting that. Let's be real. Another thing that was reported, I believe it was Marcus Thompson, that said that, that he had some quotes from, they wouldn't name the Warrior players, but Warrior veteran players were saying that McCaw's gone dark on him. Like no one can get a hold of McCaw. So maybe this goes beyond basketball and it may play into that career-threatening injury we saw in Sacramento at the end of the season. I don't know if McCaw wants to even play basketball. So I don't think that 15th spot is going to Pat. But as far as Derrickson and McKinney go, it's open. They don't have to guarantee the contract, I believe, until January. So they have some time to see if they want to keep them. Let's say we've heard whispers of Jamal Crawford. And I'll point out one name that I thought was interesting that got waived as I looked at the waived list this morning, R.J. Hunter. I know he was on the Warriors' radar drafting when he got drafted a few years ago, like in the late 20s, and it was the Celtics that ended up taking him. He's a shooting guard, 6'6" shooting guard. He's been in and out of the league. I saw him on Houston Summer League lighting it up, and he's a shooter, man. He's a shooter, and he's got length. He's not a defender, but there's some guys out there. Point being that McKinney and these guys, they may not be here that long, but they're starting the season with the roster, and it'll be interesting to see. Wasn't a huge fan of the move. I'm going to be real, but hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. All right, let's see here. We're going to wrap this thing up. Let's see here. A couple other notes. Man, so first off, follow me on Twitter. You'll see me when I'm live game watching shit. I tweet out some funny shit. Shout out to everybody that follows me on Twitter. But I turned on that final Timberwolves preseason game. I think it was Friday. And I'm like, man, I want to see Jimmy Butler just doing some aggressive ass shit to, whoever it may be. And of course, he wasn't playing. Apparently, Butler will be there for the opener. So that's going to be must-see TV, man. I'm going to be breaking down all sorts of little mannerisms and nuances between those teammates. But I'm like, all right, so he's not playing this preseason game. I flip over to the Hawks game. I believe they were playing the Heat. I wanted to see a little Tre Young. Mind you, he hit that 33-footer against the Spurs a couple nights before to win the game. And Tre Young, man, one thing, he's going to have to put on like 20 pounds. He's got decent length. He's not like, his frame isn't too small. He has some decent length, and he's pretty athletic. He's going to have to get stronger, man. You could see teams trying to bully him, but he's going to get so much volume, so much opportunity to pull the trigger, and his passing is elite, man. That John Collins kid needs to stay healthy. But what really stuck out to me was Alex Len looking like Kevin Love. Suns fans, I know y'all shaking your head, and I know it was preseason, but the dude was like wetting threes, hitting the offensive glass, and it's funny what a change of scenery can do for a player. I'd given up on him. I've watched him out here in Phoenix for, the years that he's been in the league. He just seemed soft. He just was lacking. We knew he was a skilled player, but damn. So it'd be interesting to see if he actually has himself a serviceable career elsewhere in Atlanta. But that's it, man. We got the season starting. I hope y'all enjoy these NBA Alchemies, me warming up, and as things pick up, hit me with the Hey Alchemy. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.
I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy.